So a human warship showing up here deep in Confederate space.
It's not just unexpected, it's impossible. Or it should be.
It completely breaks the established order, a massive violation of the treaty.
It's like finding a dinosaur wandering down Main Street.
Right, and the human captain, Reed, doesn't exactly, ease into it. No kidding. He immediately requests immediate dialogue regarding matters of mutual security, straight to business.
And Trell's reaction is probably what you'd expect initially.
Oh, yeah. He hits back, quotes the treaty Proxima, tells him to leave. Standard procedure, you'd think.
But Reed isn't backing down. He's got something much, much bigger on his mind.
That audacity itself is something, isn't it? What could possibly make them risk everything like this?
It signals something fundamental has shifted. Something big enough to override a 50-year-old treaty.
And that something is, well, it's pretty terrifying, actually. Captain Reed just flat out declares the Treaty of Proxima no longer valid.
Whoa, okay.
And then he drops the bombshell. They've detected a void fracture.
A void fracture. Now that's fringe science, isn't it? Theoretical stuff.
Exactly. For anyone listening, think of it like a tear, a rupture in space-time itself. Purely theoretical, according to Confederate science anyway.
Right. So Trell must be thinking, yeah, right. Highly skeptical.
Yeah, totally. His own science officer runs the scans, checks everything, report comes back, nothing. No anomaly detected by their sensors.
Which would just confirm Trell's suspicions, presumably.
You'd think so, but Reed insists. He says the fracture is there, it's about 3 light minutes away.
Okay, close.
And it's growing, exponentially. Reed claims it'll expand catastrophically within 12 hours.
12 hours? That's incredibly soon.
Right. And here's the kicker. Reed says the Confederate sensors, advanced as they are, simply can't detect it. They're blind to this specific threat.
So he's saying their tech isn't good enough? Ouch.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the stakes. The potential destruction of everything in the sector. Human and Zalari. Everyone.
This is a massive crisis if Reed's telling the truth. It also immediately throws into question the Confederacy's own technological confidence.
Yeah, it suggests, maybe they don't know everything. Maybe there are things outside their understanding.
Which leads to the next big reveal, doesn't it?
It does. Because Reed doesn't just bring the problem. He claims humanity has the solution.
Seriously. After being confined.
He says they've developed technology, not just to detect these void fractures, but potentially to neutralize them, to fix the tear.
Okay, now Trell has to be suspicious. I mean, how? How does a lockdown civilization suddenly leapfrog everyone else with dimension-ripping tech?
That's the million-credit question, isn't it? And Reed's answer, it's pretty chilling, actually.
What does he say?
Just, confinement breeds innovation.
Huh. Simple, direct, and kind of plausible in a scary way.
Right. It suggests that being pushed to the brink, being limited, forced them down paths no one else considered. Necessity, invention, all that.
So facing this potential apocalypse, Reed makes an offer.
He proposes an alliance, a temporary one, purely focused on this crisis.
An alliance with the people who beat them and locked them up.
Yep. The plan needs Vega 9. Specifically, its power core. Reed says they need the station's massive energy output to run their stabilization array, this human device that can supposedly seal the fracture.
Wow. Okay, the dilemma for Trell here is immense.
Absolutely. If Reed's lying, if it's a trick, letting them connect to the station's power grid could be suicide. They could disable the whole station, maybe worse.
But if he's telling the truth, and Trell refuses, the whole sector goes up in smoke, Zalari included. His people.
Talk about being caught between a rock and a hard place. An impossible choice.
So what does he do? He can't just take Reed's word for it.
No way. He demands proof, hard data, sensor readings of this fracture, the technical specs, the protocols for this stabilization array, everything.
He needs to see the science, basically.
Exactly. And Reed, well, he doesn't hesitate. Instantly complies. Transmits a huge chunk of data.
Immediately. That's interesting. You'd think if it were a bluff, they'd stall or object or something.
Right. The speed is telling. It suggests genuine urgency. Like, here, look, we don't have time to argue.
So the Zalari science teams get this data dump. What do they find?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The station's AI runs the initial checks, confirms authenticity. It's real data, structured, complex.
Okay, so not just random noise.
Not at all. Yeah. But the science officer, he reports back, and he's basically floored. The math, the physics models underpinning the data, they're unlike anything in the Confederate databases. Completely alien.
Alien, but human.
Alien to the Zalari understanding of physics. But here's the kicker. The models are consistent with highly theoretical transdimensional physics. Stuff the Confederacy knew about only on paper, like way out there theory.
So the humans have somehow turned extreme theory into practice.
That's what the data suggests. It lends massive weight to Reed's seemingly impossible claims. Humanity didn't just stagnate in confinement, they went sideways, exploring theoretical avenues the Confederacy hadn't.
This changes everything for Trell. It's still a risk, but now there's evidence. Strange evidence, but evidence nonetheless.
Exactly. So faced with this completely unexpected validation, Trell makes the call. A huge gamble.
He agrees.
He agrees to allow a small human technical team to dock. Just a small team.
With conditions, I assume.
Oh yeah. Very strict conditions. Trell makes it crystal clear. Any sign of hostile intent, any deviation from the plan, and they'll be met with lethal force. No hesitation.
A necessary warning. And Reed.
Reed acknowledges, understands the terms. The docking procedure begins.
You have to wonder what's going through Trell's mind right then. Why take the risk at all?
Well, the sources suggest his internal logic was something like, if they just wanted to attack, why warn us? Why not just open fire when they arrived? Why offer help for a shared threat? Why hand over potentially revolutionary scientific data? Didn't quite add up as pure aggression.
It's a calculated risk based on, well, unexpected human behavior. They're not acting like the defeated enemy he thought he knew.
Which leads to this incredible scene a bit later. You have human engineers and Zolari engineers working together, side by side, on Vega 9.
After 50 years of enforced separation and defeat, that's remarkable.
Totally. They're hooking up this strange human device, the stabilization array, to the station's main power conduits. Tension must have been sky high.
I can only imagine. Trell's watching all this unprecedented cooperation.
And he apparently remarks on it, something about how humanity just keeps surprising them.
And Captain Reed hears this.
Seems so. And his reply is, it's perfect. It sums up this whole encounter.
What does he say?
He says, that's a common mistake when dealing with humanity, Commander. Just when you think you have us figured out, we evolve is what we do best.
Wow, that hits hard. It's not just about technology, it's about their fundamental nature, maybe.
Yeah.
Adaptability, evolution under pressure.
Exactly. And, well, the collaboration works.
They managed to seal the fracture.
Yes. There's this surge of energy, weird readings as the array does its thing, powered by Vega 9, and then stability. The threat recedes, the fracture is sealed.
Crisis averted. Unbelievable.
But think back to the beginning, that initial shock, the TDV Presolute arriving.
Right.
It wasn't just about a warship breaking a treaty.
No, it was more profound.
It was a warning shot, in a way. Not of war, necessarily, but of change. A warning that humanity hadn't just been sitting idle. They'd been advancing, evolving, becoming unpredictable.
The arrival itself was the message. The fracture was just the proof, the immediate catalyst for revealing that change.
Right, and this whole event, this forced cooperation to save the sector, it could be the start of something entirely new between humans and Zolari. A new chapter, maybe? Born from a shared crisis and a startling revelation about human ingenuity. And maybe a bit more respect going both ways.
So the real takeaway here for you, listening to this, it's about assumptions, isn't it? The Confederacy assumed humanity was contained, defeated, predictable.
And they were wrong. Completely wrong. Defeat, confinement. It didn't stop them. It might have actually fueled their progress in unexpected ways.
We just witnessed this pivotal moment where everything the Zolari thought they knew about humanity got turned on its head. Because of this completely unforeseen crisis and humanity's, well, surprising response. Which really makes you think, doesn't it? It leaves you with this question. What other things that seem totally fixed, totally settled in our world, maybe even in your own life, could be completely overturned by the unexpected?
Yeah, and how can limitations, or even what looks like a massive setback, actually become the engine for innovation and lead somewhere completely new, something to chew on?